And welcome back, everybody, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. And this is episode 57.
Yeah, man. Let's kill that bass head. Alright, let's do this. I'm on the air, we got this pockets flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkling some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAP.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Bowes, and sitting across from me is a man whose idea of fine Italian cuisine is craft dinner. Welcome back, Matey G.
Hey, man, I put maple syrup in my craft dinner.
Oh, Jesus. Like, you
It's
destroy
delicious.
things in every possible way, don't you? Whoa.
Yes, or mac and cheese for our American friends.
That's right. Welcome back. It feels like it's been an eternity since you've been here. I know it's been a few episodes, and that seems like forever. When we're used to seeing each other every week, right?
Yeah, it's weird. It's I'm surprised by how fast this summer flew by, even in COVID time.
Yeah,
it's it feels like it feels like we had less to do, but somehow did more. It's a very strange thing what we're in right now. It's like I feel like I'm part of Bill and Ted, like just time warp.
You know what's strange for me is this being the first day of school, kids going back. I sat in the house and I looked around. I'm like, oh my God, this almost feels like a holiday to me.
Right?
So it was good. I got a ton of work done, and it was really amazing. Now, to celebrate your return, we have a phenomenal guest today, a Canadian blues rock band. They have gone gold multiple times and nominated for multiple Junos Award, both for the best new band and the best rock album. They've shared the stage with ZZ Top and opened for AC/DC, George Thorogood, The Guess Who, and opened for the Rolling Stones, not once, not twice, but 5 times. Ladies and gentlemen, Shaun Verreault from Widemouth Mason. Shaun, how are you doing today?
Hey, everybody. I'm all right. I was thinking as you were introing it, it was reminding me of, and perhaps this is before your time, there used to be a show called Quantum Leap.
Oh, yes.
Where Scott Bakula was this guy who would just appear in people's lives through some like Back to the Future sort of quantum science thing happening. And he would just all of a sudden be on stage about to give a speech and have no context and no history and just zap into that moment. And that's what every day of COVID life has kind of felt like, is that you're either coming back from vacation or that you're just zooming in from some other universe, and now you have to live this life for a day and figure it out as you go.
It's true. I used to love that show. It was fantastic. Al and the Computer Ziggy, and it was great.
Yes.
Trying to correct moments in time. Yeah, it was.
And he'd always go, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh no, he's Hitler, and he's about to give us what happened?
Exactly.
What is he gonna do?"
I think my favorite episode is where he bounced into a woman's body the first time, and he's like, "Oh boy." Yeah.
I remember.
Oh man, that was so funny. Excellent. Well, before we get going with Shaun, Matty G, how about we jump into the news?
Yeah, let's kick it off, man.
All right.
Okay, first article. Airline pilots report guy in a jetpack flying past them at LAX.
What?
Yeah, true story. Yeah. This was fairly recent too. So have you seen Iron Man or the Rocketeer cruising around LAX lately? If so, Los Angeles Police Department and the Federal Aviation Administration would probably like to speak with you. Police, FAA officials, and airport staff are still scratching their heads after 2 flight crews reportedly seeing a person in a jetpack near the Los Angeles International Airport on Sunday, where he was allegedly cruising past planes at over 3,000 feet in the air.
Wow.
Aviation expert Steve Caldwell for Fox News said that such flight is possible, though not for long periods of time, and this fellow was up there for quite a while. So even the most advanced technological jetpacks can only fly very briefly, which is why they're so curious about this particular event. No suspects have been identified, and no one had come forward to claim responsibility for the stunt as a part. Oh, so this was Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
However, people were quick to recommend fictional suspects, and Tony Stark was unavailable for comment.
Does anybody have an alibi for where Elon Musk was?
Right?
Right.
He seems like the kind of guy who would have the gear and use it.
Yeah. And you know what? Like with that amount of technology, I'm actually amazed. You're right. I know there's a lot of people out there who have been trying this obviously forever and a day. In fact, I think they've been trying this since World War II, creating a jetpack for soldiers. And honestly, to even hear that this person was spotted at 3,000 feet. Now, that's not a normal, ability for anybody even to achieve that height. Let alone for the amount of time it would take to achieve 3,000 feet and land safety.
Well, and that's what I had to do some more research because I'm like, what the? All right. And I'm very curious. And that's the thing that's got them scratching their heads and why, like, the federale are getting involved is because technically this technology doesn't exist on public record, at least not to do this. And your standard test flight with a jetpack system is like anywhere from 1 to 300 feet.
Yeah.
And mostly over water.
Yeah.
So this was, multitudes higher over land.
Yeah.
This is just not your typical test flight scenario.
Yeah.
So very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. I thought you'd like this one.
I totally do. It's amazing.
I'm worried. Like, I know there's been a few instances when people have drones that they're flying near airports, and they warn that, look, you could really scramble and mess up planes coming in for a landing, that people driving cars are oblivious and distracted enough that as much as I want to soar like Elon Musk with a futuristic jetpack on me, I'm not ready for the skies to be full of distracted drivers in the same way that the roads are.
Yeah. Well, just imagine like a very rare time where an airplane takes in a bird into an engine and the damage that causes and the amount of risk that. Just imagine a human being getting sucked in through the engine.
My God, you go straight there. I love it.
Right. Not to mention with like obviously some form of technology or rocket fuel on their back. So like the amount of destruction that would happen when it hits a turbine. So, that, and then you've got like, thousands of people who suddenly work together the bills to buy one of these things. I don't know. I think it's just, we're going to have some weird lanes.
I've always wanted to try though. I really think have you seen those rocket ones like for water? They're like, they're like two water jets.
Yeah.
That I would try. That looks fun as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you need to be that far over the ground to experience the wonder of flight. Like the Orville and Wilbur were only, I think, 10 feet above the ground when they were doing the flights at Kitty Hawk, and that water one seems like you're enough over the ground that you're flying and you have a bird's eye view, but it should power and water cut out to that thing, you'll just kind of hit the water as if you were water skiing or something, versus falling from the sky. I watched a thing this morning of David Blaine with a whole bunch of inflatable balloons doing like the kid from Up. Did you guys see that yet?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it.
And he went to something like 24,000 feet. So they were ready for him to pass out. And he started, talking a little slurred and a little slower because at that altitude, everything gets kind of thicker and harder to do. So yet another asterisk for people on jetpacks going up high enough that then they pass out and start falling down on houses and on roads and stuff. We're at the precipice of something very, very dangerous here, fellas.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I think not in that long ago, I overheard something about a new flying car that is actually in the works, but it kind of looks it's very Jetson-esque kind of thing. So I have to do a little more.
I think I saw it, like the prototype in a news article I was going through. It's very like sleek and aerodynamic looking, right? It's like white.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's like we haven't even really perfected the self-driving car and we already want to hit the air. Like,
come
on, people.
Yeah. Is Toronto
I just
traffic
want
that
stuff
bad?
to look like. Yeah, it's just the way that the 50s and 60s imagined the future is cooler looking than the future has turned out to be. So even if there was a Jetsons car that drove on the road, I would be happy to take one of those.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? It's true, actually. If anything, I think you occasionally will see old news articles or posters or books on mechanics where I think even back in the 40s and 50s, some of the cars were trying to like, we're the car of the future. And it kind of looks all bubbly and like a Jetson car. And I'd love to know what the repair rates were like on those things when people did get accidents. So,
yeah.
So they were steel then. So,
oh, there's a dent in it. Just write it off.
Yep, exactly. Too much.
Throw it away.
Yeah. All right. My news article. Homeowner distraught after realtor steals her pears. So a Vancouver woman is distraught after she says a realtor helped himself to all of the fruit in her yard after showing a home to prospective buyers. Homeowner Jill Chan took to Facebook to accuse the real estate agent Peter Yang of stealing pears and berries from her family home. According to Chan, Yang was showing the property to the clients, and then, while no one was home, he started picking the fruit from her trees and bushes. Now, they do have a closed-circuit television camera in their backyard, and it basically shows this man robbing the tree completely of every pear. Yeah, and then eating the berries and spitting the seeds out on her lawn. And the police officers visited the family home and stated that the family isn't pressing charges yet. However, they did contact the real estate board of the Greater Vancouver board chair, and Colette Gerber told the CTV News that she can't comment to the ongoing investigation, but said that members who break the rules are subject to fines up to $30,000. Most expensive fruit ever.
Oh,
wow. So
that sounds like a personal vendetta.
I don't know. I think this was the guy who just probably really liked fruit and thought, who's gonna miss this fruit? Now,
I really like pears.
Yeah, the homeowner did say that the garden was like her late grandmother's pride and joy. Now, coming from a woman who's now selling the house, it's like, you might get some sympathy on the fact that, yes, someone has stolen your fruit, but don't play like, this was my grandmother's fruit card, because you're getting rid of the house anyway. So unless you plan on picking up the tree and taking it with you, which I don't think you are.
See, I would have spun it. I would have been like, yeah, we kept getting, the house is lovely, but we kept getting complaints about the pear tree. So, I just...
Real estate agents always make you clear out extra clutter and stuff in the house. Maybe he was just thinking, they need to be able to imagine their own pears on these trees. Your pears are impeding their ability to see themselves in this yard.
Maybe he was like, these pears are ridiculous. They're all over the lawn and nobody wants to pick those up. So I cleaned them up for you.
Right.
So they didn't think there would be a mess they had to deal with yearly.
That's right.
Man,
and I
that's
spat
amazing.
the seeds out, so there'll be more pear trees in a couple decades when the new owners live here.
Right. Oh, boy. All right,
There's
Matt.
a tree on my street. There is next to a club, Richards on Richards, we used to play all the time, that I now live nearby the old site of, where it was like the movie Up, where there was this little old lady who lived in a house and would not sell, and everything around it turned into condos, and they kept waving huge checks under her nose. And she was like, look, I grew up, I raised my family, my husband died in this house, I'm going to live in this house forever, and I will not sell it. And eventually they convinced the family, I think she either passed away or had to go into care, but they were like, listen, you cannot get rid of the tree in front of this house. It was like this person's pear tree.
Oh, wow.
And they built the sidewalk around the tree. The rest of the sidewalk is just normal with no trees in the middle of it. And that was this is the line that you may not cross. You can finally buy our house for millions and millions of dollars to make a condo out of it, but you will not cut this tree down. You must build the sidewalk around this tree that will live forever on Richard Street.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, that's really
a cool story.
But there's I don't know if it's just the twisted part of me that looks at that and says, they've buried somewhere under that tree and they don't want it unearthed.